Hi, my name's Sean Latham. I'm from Bowling Green, Kentucky. Just want to say thanks for coming and visiting this website and taking the time and watching this video. Didn't first start out to be this way. It's just kind of evolved into being a review site. This video and the other videos on this site are hopefully going to give you some detailed information on some experiences. Really on three different companies. The first one's going to be eBay Motors. The second one is going to be Ultra Motor Cars, located in Houston, Texas. And the third one's going to be a third-party company affiliated with eBay called Net Neutral. And I'm going to do the best I can to try to articulate the three of them, how they work together, and really hopefully through the process of all this, hopefully you'll be a little bit more of an educated buyer as you go through the buying process of buying a vehicle on eBay Motors. So anyway, appreciate your time. I'm going to start out really with just hopefully a really quick summary. This particular clip that I'm making right now is not going to go into deep detail of the vehicle I actually purchased. I'll give you just a quick synopsis on it, just so that you can understand some of what I'm going through. I'm going to put another clip on here that goes line item by line item of everything of what really is in comparison to what was advertised on eBay Motors and Ultra Motor Cars. But this particular clip is just really just going to be an overview and a summary. I bought how it started out. I bought a vehicle a month ago. Buy it now price on eBay Motors from Ultra Motor Cars. From the very beginning, a gentleman named Chris called me up after I made the buy it now purchase price. He was very helpful and nice and kind. He really he helped me through the process because I was unfamiliar with it. He called me friend. He was just real. The communication was great. He was nice as can be. Really made me feel comfortable about the purchase. He said it was a great deal, beautiful vehicle, run great. Told me I was getting a great deal, wholesale price. That I was going to be well pleased. So, I felt good about it so far. So I actually arranged to bought a ticket to fly out of Nashville to Houston to pick this thing up. Upon arrival, just quickly, the vehicle on the outside, really it was clean. It wasn't, terrible, but it wasn't as described. It was advertised to have, good BF Goodrich tires on it, which are, about $1,400 set of tires. Two of the tires from the very beginning needed to be replaced. They both had they had plugs in them. One of them was bald. They were non-repairable. It was supposedly no nicks, dings, scratches. It had nicks, dings, and scratches. And it had a left rear bumper that had obviously been backed into. It was caved in. It's going to need to replace the left rear bumper cover. The interior was supposed to be in flawless condition, and from the very beginning, I noticed that the interior is actually painted. It wasn't flawless because it was well maintained. They literally painted the interior to make it look like new. So, it wasn't what it was supposed to be. But it really was at good enough price. I said, okay, Chris, here's some issues here. It's not as described, but. He got a little upset when I brought that to his attention, but he said, well, listen, what do you expect? The thing's 7 years old, which he's right. I wasn't upset that it had things on it. I was upset that it wasn't as described. So, anyway, I was reassured that this thing was going to at least mechanically be as described. He encouraged me to drive it around the block. I drove it around the block about 5 minutes. It seemed to be okay. It seemed to be good. So I moved forward with the purchase because I was getting it at a fair price. So anyway, I give him this. We go in to sign the paperwork. I give him a check and sign off on the as-is no warranty disclaimer. He's quick to make sure I sign that. And then he looks me in the eye and says, I don't have the title, but I'll send it to you. I didn't know if that was policy or not. I didn't know if that's how it's supposed to be. I was really just up through this point trusting Chris. So anyway, I hop in the vehicle. I go by the tire store, make sure that the tires are safe. They inform me that they need to be replaced. I just ask them really to air them up so I can get home with them. You know, I begin my 850-mile journey home. I'm about 100 miles into it, and my car breaks down. The vehicle's stuck in drive and won't go into park. And so I can't shut it off because I won't be able to restart it. So I scramble to get really put an emergency brake on, put a rock on, try to chalk it up, have to leave it running the entire time, and I call Chris up. Really, just kind of by this time it's starting to overheat now. It's overheating because it was a hot day, but I can't even shut it off. I call Chris. Really up to this point, really just kind of out of just needing help. This was a plea for help, Chris. I'm 800 miles away from home, and the vehicle you just sold me is having problems. I mean, can you help me? What do I do? And he goes on the defense right away. Now, up until this time, he's calling me friend. But now that I've had problems, that friend was gone, and he starts accusing me that I don't know how to drive the truck. And I'm like, Chris, I know how to drive a automatic vehicle. I know how to put it in park and neutral, and I've been driving cars. I know how to drive it. Okay, that's not the issue. The thing is jammed in drive. And so, and then he's quick to say, well, it's as is, no warranty. There's nothing I can do for you. I'm like, oh, Chris, you gotta be kidding me. Now, because of his attitude, I'm like, well, Chris, so far it hasn't looked like it was described, and now it's not running like it's described. I'm not feeling good about this purchase. Is there any way I can get my money back? And he hesitates a minute, and he goes, how much will you be willing for me to take it back? And I'm like, well, how much is it going to take? And I said, would you take it back for a couple $100? He's like, hardly. I mean, so he insinuates the numbers could be like $1,000 for me to take it back. He said, "Oh, I tell you what." He said, "You either got to pay me to take it back, or I'll give you $450 if you'll give me a positive feedback, and that'll help pay for this vehicle, whatever problems you're having." I'm like, oh, I'm stuck. I don't know what I'm going to do. So anyway, and that was it. I'm like, well, Chris, can I come back to the shop? He said, well, I'm already gone for the day. He said, I'll be home. He said, I'll be back at the shop sometime about 1 o'clock tomorrow. So I am stuck in Texas, and I don't know what to do other than drive home and continue to use a rock to scotch up underneath the vehicle every time I stop and get gas, and can't stop for too long because it's going to overheat. I end up getting home, and it's what seems like a fairly easy fix. It's a shifter cable, and it's about a $400 fix. So I'm thinking to myself, well, Chris offered me $450 to write him a positive feedback. This will work out okay. I'll take the $450. And really, I could tell that he don't care, okay? I mean, he's not going to help me out here. I'll take the $450, which I was grateful for. And I would, spend it on the shifter cable that needed to be done. So anyway, I get the shifter cable done, and within a couple days, the instrument cluster goes out on it. There's no lights, no dash lights. So I put an instrument cluster, which is, about a $500 fix to install an instrument cluster. A day later, and I haven't even put 1,500 miles on the thing, a day later the transmission starts going out on it. And come to find out, it's because the shifter cable wasn't acting right. It's had caused permanent damage to the transmission. And I've got transmission issues. Not to mention the computer light's on for having some sort of throttle body issue. Okay? On top of the tires I had to replace, on top of the left rear bumper I had to try to fix. Okay, so things aren't looking good. Now, I'm 3 weeks into owning this vehicle, 1,500 miles so far on it, and it's currently in the shop right now, not even being able to run. And I still don't have a title. You know, and I'm emailing Chris saying, "Where's my title?" And he's like, "Well, it'll come, and so will your check for $450." I didn't even mention this other stuff that was wrong with it because I knew he didn't care. I'm thinking, well, I would like to have the $450. I'll give him positive feedback, even though everything's turned to crap. Maybe he didn't really know that this thing was a piece of junk that it was. I was giving him the benefit of the doubt. So anyway, I get a phone call yesterday, which is was August the 16th, 2011. He gives me a call. He says, "I got your title for you, and I got this check for you." He said, "But I've noticed you haven't given me a positive feedback." And I'm thinking, well, Chris, I tell Chris, well, I'm going to give you a feedback once I get the title, once I'm insured that I'm really going to get the title here in the check. And so, and he tells me he's not going to send it until I give him a positive feedback. Well, I didn't feel good about this at all, so I wrote him a letter through the eBay account and told him I don't feel good about it. So far nothing's been as described, either outside or mechanically. Nothing's been as described. How can I really know that you're going to send me the title and the check as described? Well, he goes and sends me, actually he calls me about 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, pissed off, started using the F-bomb on me, saying there's no effing way, no F-bomb way I'm going to get my title and the check unless I send in a positive feedback. And so, I'm not feeling good about this whole conversation, and I don't even feel, I've really gotten to the point I don't even want the $450 because I want to be able to tell the truth and not leave a positive feedback saying this whole experience has been terrible and negative. And so I'm like, Chris, keep your $450, just send me my title. Just send me the title. That's the least you can do. Well, he goes and proceeds to tell me, you're not even getting the effing title unless I send a positive feedback. He said, if you want this title from me, you need to fly down and physically pick it up from me. So now my back is up against the wall because I won't give him a positive feedback and I can't even get this title unless I fly down there and spend several $100s and physically go and get it from him. So I'm like, Chris, that's fine. You do whatever you got to do. I'm just going to leave an honest feedback. Well, Chris then goes on to say, I don't give a F. Because even if you leave a negative feedback, I can pay eBay $100 and have the negative feedback removed. Do you follow what I'm saying here? He's extorting me into giving him a positive feedback by holding the title over my head. I'm not going to get the title unless I give him positive feedback. And if I decide to give him a negative feedback, he can go pay this third-party company whose partnerships with eBay called Net Neutral. He paid them $100 and he filed that today with Net Neutral, and Net Neutral is a company that can remove the negative feedback. What he's doing, and what's bothering me about the whole thing, is that he was a 100% feedback seller, which is all bogus. There may be a lot of people just like me that was extorted into giving a positive feedback when really out of fear they gave a feedback just so they'd get the title or just so that they might get some punitive damages to help fix a piece of junk that they sold. And then if you don't give a positive feedback, he turns around and buys the negative feedback out so that people like you don't have a clue. So you don't have a clue what you may be going through. That's what I've been through. That's the purpose of this whole site, so that you may have a real life scenario walkthrough of this process that I've been in. It's going to be an ongoing process. I got a vehicle that's sitting in the shop right now that's had thousands of dollars put in it just so it would run. It still needs a $2,500 transmission put in it. It's currently under the eBay protective program. I'm waiting on them to find out what they're going to do. I got this Ultra Motor Cars that won't give me a title, and I've got this third-party company that's looking to take off my negative feedback that I just put on there so that you don't know the truth. So I hope this site will benefit you. If you have any questions, please call me, 270-799-3873. I wish you the very best, okay? I hope you don't have to go through what I've gone through. God bless you, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.